I don't know if you're ready to hear this, but sometimes God's silence is not punishment, it's preparation. The question is, are you actually listening? That's the question. Let's talk about it. Because if we are being honest, silence feels personal, right? Does it not? When people ignore us, it's usually a sign that something is wrong. So we assume God's silence means he is upset, distant, or worse, uninterested. But that is not the case. And today I am going to show you why. Oh, and by the way, welcome back to my channel. My name is Royanne, and if you are new here, we talk about faith, mental health, and real life struggles. Because let's be honest, let's not pretend like we always feel super close to God. Because we have moments of doubt, silence, and even frustration, just like everyone else. So if you have ever felt like your prayers are hitting the ceiling, like you're doing everything right, yet God is not speaking back, this video is for you. I'm going to break down why I think this happens, and most importantly, how you can start hearing from him again. So do not click away, because I promise you, this is about to make sense, okay? First of all, let's deal with, why does God feel silent? All right, let's break this all the way down. When you feel like God is not answering, it doesn't mean he has abandoned you. Sometimes silence is part of the process. But why, right? Why would a loving God who wants a relationship with us go quiet when we need him the most? I'm going to give you 3 reasons, and I promise at least one of these reasons is going to hit home. The first reason is God might just be testing your trust. You ever watch a baby learning how to walk? And at some point, a parent has to step back, let go of their hands, and give them space to take those first wobbly steps. Does it mean they abandoned the baby? No, they are right there watching, ready to catch them. But the baby doesn't know that. All they know is that they are on their own for the first time. That is exactly how God does us sometimes. When Job lost everything, his family, his wealth, even his health, God was silent. But was God absent? Nope. He was watching. He was waiting. Job had to walk through that season without constant reassurance. And guess what? He passed the test. He stayed faithful. And on the other side of that silence, God restored everything Job lost. And then some. So, if you are in a season where you cannot hear him, ask yourself this question. Is God watching to see if I will trust him anyway? Number 2, God already gave you the answer. Most of the times that's the case. Okay, so this one is going to hurt a little bit, but let's be real. Sometimes we are out here begging God for direction when he already told us what to do. We just didn't like the answer. I will give you an example. Okay, so you ever pray about a relationship like, God, is this the one? Should I stay? And deep down, you already know, you already saw the red flags, you already heard the warning, but you are still waiting for God to send you a flashing billboard that says, leave now. That is not how it works. Or maybe God gave you a vision, a business idea, a ministry. I mean, he already put it in your heart, but instead of moving forward, you keep asking him, are you sure? Can you confirm it one more time? Meanwhile, he is silent because he is waiting on you to act. So ask yourself, did God already speak and I just don't want to hear it? The third one is, God might just be shifting something. Just because God is quiet does not mean he is not working. And I know that is hard to believe when life is falling apart. But let me tell you something. Some of the biggest shifts in my life happened when I thought God was ignoring me. Think about Joseph in the Bible. His own brothers sold him into slavery. He was falsely accused and he was thrown into prison. And for years, God was silent. But what Joseph did not know was that God was working behind the scenes. He was positioning him for something greater. One day Joseph was sitting in prison, thinking his life was over. The next day, he was being called before Pharaoh and promoted to second in command over all of Egypt. Some of y'all are in a season where nothing makes sense, but God is shifting things behind the scenes. And the silence is not rejection, it's preparation. He's getting things in place before he moves you forward. So now that we understand why God might be silent, let's talk about how to actually start hearing him again. Because the truth is, he's always speaking. The real question is, are we tuned in? Some of us have too much going on. Social media, people in our ear, our own doubts, and then we wonder why we cannot hear God. If you're constantly filling your mind with distractions, you're not leaving room for his voice. Jesus himself had to step away from the crowds to pray. If the Son of God needed quiet time, what makes us think we do not? So quiet the noise. Check your heart. Are you actually open to what God is saying? Or are you only listening for what you want to hear? Because sometimes the real issue is not that God is not speaking. It's that we have selective hearing. You ever heard of that? If you really want to hear God, pray this dangerous prayer. Lord, whatever you want to say, I'm listening. Even if it's not what I want to hear. That is when breakthroughs happen. Then the other way is to go back to what he already told you. If God feels silent, go back to the last thing he said. What was the last scripture that stood out to you? The last sermon that convicted you? The last moment you knew God was speaking? Go back there. Because sometimes he's not saying something new because you have not acted on the last thing he told you. I'm going to stop right there. Listen, if this spoke to you, I want you to drop a praying hands in the comments because I am standing in faith with you. And don't leave just yet. There is a whole playlist right here on my channel with more videos to help you grow in faith, in love, in joy, in mental health, and in God. Listen, go ahead and click on either the next video or check out my channel and choose a video to watch because I promise you, God is not done speaking. See you next time.